Hi guys, this is a very, very special timing for me that I'm sharing this transit and everything that goes on in, in this empowered mind. Um, I deeply feel the quarter of mutation. I feel the intensive transformation that is coming towards my birthday. I'm exactly in the middle of this quarter, and it is so strong, it is so empowering, it is so initiating. I'm being initiated all the time, so I'm really talking to you with this energy, so I don't know what it's going to do. This cross of contagion, this mutation, and this empowered direction, I hope it will touch you. So yes, we are going to talk about empowered direction and in being a creative role model. This is a very interesting pair of gates. We are talking about power skills, the 14th gate in the sacral, pointed towards the second gate, which is the direction of the self. And then we have the eighth gate, which is the gate of contribution, and it's in the throat, and it points at the first gate, which is the creative self-expression. So we have these two very centered channels in the power column, and they have and the 14th and the 8th have a very strong connection, and they are both individual, very, very beautiful and empowering gates. So let's see what this power skill gates, yes, the 14th gate, the Wagon, possession in great measure. Now think about it, that's the only gate in the whole 64 gates that is talking about a very material aspect, yes, possession in great measure. Even the gate of abundance says abundance is strictly a matter of spirit. So here we have possession in great measure. This is a sacral gate, and this is the gate that brings the fuel, the physical fuel, the energy that can empower the unique direction of the self that sits in the second gate. In the second gate, this is the gate of the driver, and the driver can't go anywhere without fuel. So it holds the keys, it puts it where it belongs in the car, but it can't do anything without the 14th gate. And the 14th gate in a defined sacral means that this person carries the availability to put the energy and work in order to fill the wagon. And of course, this work should be something that the sacral really responds to. But the 14th gate loves work, loves hard work in order to fill the wagon, because we know that without physical maintenance, without, in Hebrew, there's this phrase from the traditional Jewish phrase, if we don't have flour as wheat and stuff, if you don't have flour, you can't have the spirit, the Torah, yes, the Bible. You can't touch the spirit if you don't have the flour to make bread. So this is exactly what this gate says. It says possession in great measure is important in order to fuel the direction of the self. And this is an individual gate, but it has a very wide meaning. And as I see it, really no direction can go. I mean, we can sit there and even feel that we know where we're going, but it's not true, because this gate shows us that we can know where we're going only from response. And not all the types respond, but it says that life brings us the energy, and we respond to this energy that will take us to the right direction. And this is very, very interesting. A generator that has the whole channel defined never know what their direction, unless they respond, unless they are asked, is this the right direction for you? And he says, aha. So that's this gate, and it's all about, it's interesting, yes, it's very beautiful to see the accumulation and retention of power through skilled interactions, coupling grace with control. And this is really one of the very, very powerful sacral gates. And then we go up in this centering individual column, and we get to the 8th gate, holding together, the gate of contribution. And again, this is a very individual gate, but it talks about contribution to the whole. And it's part of the channel of inspiration, a creative role model. And this is interesting because you can't be a creative role model by just talking or just saying to people what to do. It doesn't work like that. This is a projected channel. You have to be invited by life or by people to give your contribution. And this gate's contribution is not about talking, it's about being a creative role model. This is a gate that comes from the quarter of civilization. It's all about form. Yes, the gates of the throat come from the form. So in order to really contribute your very individual creative contribution, you need to be it. And this is your contribution, being this creative role model. The first gate, with its the creative expression of the self, needs the voice that will take it out. And it's by being the first line in the 8th gate is honesty. And it's not honesty in the meaning of talking the truth, it's honesty in the meaning of being the truth. So when we look at the whole column, we see how the 14th gate empowers this very individual mutative direction, gives the fuel to the driver, and then the first gate, that is the direction. It's these two gates are part of the Sphinx. Yes, the second one and the second gate and the first gate. So there's the driver that has the fuel to start going to the right direction, and the expression, the creative expression of this very unique direction comes through the 1 and the 8. So this is very, very beautiful, these two gates, very individual, part of the cross of contagion. So if this mutation that I feel, this mutation that happened to me, this shift in my transformation, I can feel, I really energetically feel the waves that are going through my network, even if they don't know what happened to me, because it doesn't matter what happened, it matters that it happened. And through my form, and the aura is part of the form, through my form, I can feel that my network feels the mutation and being touched by it, yes, being virused by it due to this contagion. So this is very, very interesting, and a very interesting week. We are going to have these two gates, and of course, all the people that have an open G and they have the first gate or the second or both of them are going to experience very, very interesting 6 neutrino days. The next thing that happens is that our nodes moved to the 4th gate, and this is the gate of networking. So we are going to have a lot of bargains, sticky bargains in the network, and network is also about influence. And it will be interesting to see what happens when the 14th and the 8th will be in the 4th line. Very, very interesting how the mutative direction and the creative expression will be contagious in the network. Interesting, very, very. And then later today, the moon is going to enter the 15th gate and create the channel of the rhythm. And when that global conditioning pattern will enter, so a few things happened. First of all, we feel this global conditioning pattern of being in the flow, but people that have the 15th or the 5 I might feel that their flow is being interrupted. It could be the fixed rhythm of the 5 will, being mixed with extremes, and the extreme would feel that somebody puts them in in a fixed rhythm which is not theirs. This is interesting. And of course, the 14th and the 9th and the 42nd gate, all these gates in the sacral are going to light up and be strong. And again, the 14th is a very, very powerful gate. It sits in the sun now for a week, so we are going to feel it very strongly. And of course, this is, we don't forget that the channel of community all the time is there, so interesting configuration. And then tomorrow the moon is going to enter to the 52nd gate, the gate of inaction, and going to connect with Mercury that sits in the 9th gate, and they are going to form the format energy of concentration. And we are going to feel this very strong format channel because, again, first of all, it's a global conditioning pattern. We can't move from it. And look how almost all the gates in the transits, except the 8 and the 48, except these two, all of the other gates are going to be part of a global conditioning pattern. And these are 4 motors. So we are going to feel these 4 motors in all the gates in the root, the pressure to fantasize, to start a new experience, the pressure to fight, sorry, it's not the fighter, not yet, the pressure to correct, yes, out of this love of life, the pressure to correct, the pressure to, the pressure of ambition, and the 42nd gate, of course, this the gate of ending, the pressure to end, the energy to end or to go through finishing cycles, the gate of fixed rhythms, and of course the 14. So all of these are going to be felt very strongly because of the connection between the sacral and the root. And of course, we might be connected directly. So this is very, very interesting. And then when this session is over, in the 18th, the 53rd gate is going to be in the moon, and the moon is going to be in the 53rd gate, and the whole thing shifts from very logic and concentrated energy to the format of the cyclical sensing circuit energy. So this is about beginning and endings, and all the other pressures and activations are going to be affected by this cyclic beginning and ending, and of course, again, the channel of community on the side, you know. And not on the side, it's a background frequency, even stronger. So this is interesting. Begin or end some cycle in our network. Interesting. And then in the 20th, we're going to have some shifts. Mercury is going to enter the 5th gate and join Saturn, who sits there. And then Venus is going to enter the gate of the fighter, the pressure to fight for our own, for our life's purpose. And the 19th, Mars is going to get to the 19th, and this is the gate of approach. And it is the beginning of the stream of sensitivity that only lacks, here in the global conditioning pattern, only lacks the 49th gate. So people that don't have anything from this channel of community and don't have the 19th, but have the 49th gate, are going to be very pressured with this whole emotional sensitivity stream. So another experience for us to taste, to touch. Yes, to touch. This is a touching stream. Another experience that would touch us. So this is an interesting week, and the energies of these two channels, the channel of the beat and the channel of the creative role model, this energy has really inspired me, and I saw so many things just by beginning to feel this energy and ponder about this energy. And it's interesting, of course, that the program brings what it brings, and I had some very deep conversations with people in the last days about direction in life and the energy for the direction. And as I said, we know that for a generator it's rather easy, because they just respond. If they live correctly, they respond to the direction. And I don't mean only generators with these channels. I just use these two channels as inspiration. But we all look for direction. We all need our guidance of direction, because our mind doesn't know where to go. And I had this conversation with a projector that is a newcomer to the human design experiment, and it was interesting because he feels that this is very correct, and he feels it in his body that he needs to wait to be directed by life. But the mind is so strong, and he wants it to be something special. He wants it to be something specific that his mind wants it to be. And this is the catch, this is the trap that we're falling in, because we don't know our direction. It doesn't matter if our G is defined or not. We don't know what our direction. There are people, and I'm one of them, that I can say that I sense and I know mentally where I'm going, but it's not because I'm pushing myself there. I did that before the experiment. I thought I know what my direction is, and I pushed it. But now it's so different, because really life directs us. And for a generator, it's all about response. For projectors, and this is what I want to share a little bit, for projectors, it's not really different. I mean, we don't respond, but our direction is fueled in the correct moment by the correct energies, and it can't happen according to what our mind wants. It has to be in the right timing and in the right flow of energy. And then life actually invites us to engage in it. Life invites us to engage. A projector is not a bystander. I'm not standing. Projectors don't sit aside and wait for the invitation as it looks that we should do, or we are told. It's very mechanic, and it's true, it's a mechanic, but it doesn't have real life energy when we say wait for the invitation. But we can't do anything else, because somebody who is not a projector will never understand it, and somebody who is a projector needs to regain his projectorhood. And we were never told, and we were never educated or guided how our life should be as projectors. We are the new generator, the new generation, the first generation. We are the pioneers. So we need to learn and study and be coached by life, by strategy and authority, how to be a projector. And when you really live as a projector, then you don't need to worry about what will fuel your direction, because the design itself is displaying what it is. It displays my design as I see it. And yesterday I sat with a close friend of mine that was guided by me as soon as I started being a guide. I think it was a year after my experiment. So I think she's 4.5 years in the experiment. She's around 40, and she has transformed her life, or let's say her life transformed in such a huge fashion that it's really unbelievable to see. And she just sit there and she's in kind of shock by just watching herself, because she's very different from me. I mean, I was always like that. I never cared about what people say. I was, this emotional initiator. But she's a completely different design. And what a change. And what I'm saying is that she was just locked in her strategy, and she's splenic. So she started using or listening to her splenic authority. Of course, it took time, and what happens is that her direction just shows itself, presents itself, and the energy for this direction comes from the right people in the right timing. And there's no question about it. I mean, I see it in my life. I mean, there's a direction that life takes me. And before human design, I was always worried about the money that will fuel this direction. And now I don't have this program in my head anymore. There's no worry, because I know that if life invited me to take the next step, to continue my transformation, my evolution, then if life takes me there, life will provide the energy. And of course, for a projector, the energy is the invitation. And the invitation is not about paying me, it's energy. And if the energy for the next move is correct, then I trust the program that the money would show itself, it will display itself. And I really feel this happen. I see and feel and experience this happening. And when we are fueled correctly, because we are being in our strategy and in authority, and we sleep alone, and we don't try to push life, and we wait for life, then we become this creative role model. Because being a creative role model and contribute the whole is not about knowing how it would happen. It's only, again, by living it. The honesty of being oneself, of going in this individual direction that we were invited to take part in. This is the contribution. If we look at each and every one of the people that really live their design, this is the contribution. Living their design is the contribution. It is contagious, yes, and it goes through the form, through the aura. You don't need to talk. You don't need to be a teacher, or you don't need to consciously change people or affect their direction. Your aura does the whole work. And for a projector, and this is something that I really want to share with projectors that struggle, and I know this is a real struggle in the first years for projectors. Projector gets the sweet feeling of success. Well, I can say it from my own experience, not from being invited the correct invitation. This is in the beginning when there's a lot of bitterness and a lot of waiting, and we wait for something to happen, and we think that, yes, the correct invitation, we bring the correct guidance from us, and then we feel success. But the true success comes from just living as a projector. My feeling of success has no connection to anything that happens outside. And I think I see my generator friends are the same. I mean, they are, most of the time, if they live correctly, they are satisfied from being a generator, not because they responded or didn't respond to something, but because they live who they are. This is being this creative role model who goes in the right trajectory, that is fueled by the correct energy. And it is the same for all of us. We just have different ways of participating in this big picture. And I'm not a big picture view. I'm a very, very personal perspective, but I can't not see the big picture. And this is something that happened to me during the experiment. And I have a very close friend who is a big picture girl. She has this perspective of big picture, and we were always, I mean, she was always talking about this big picture, and I was sitting and say, okay, but where do I fit in? Where do I fit in? But now, because this evolution is so not personal, then I can look from the outside about the big picture that I am only a part of it. But if I'm playing my part correctly, then everybody is empowered by that. And this is exactly the message that these two channels and these four gates are bringing us. And it's all very, very individual gates. This is about how Russ says, it's one by one transformation. If we really want to bring the message of the human design, of this being this evolved nine-centered being, all we have to do is do it. Just live it. And then everything revealed and displays itself. And it's really amazing. So we know that all we need to do, I'll do it quickly today, be locked in our strategy, navigate with our inner authority, and sleep alone. And this Holy Trinity will ensure that we will be, that our very, very unique individual direction will be fueled correctly, and we will be able to contribute our individual expression in a very creative way and empower each other and the direction of the whole. Have a great week. Love you.